amount of money, but the rising tide lifts all boats, whatever, everybody got there. And so, we had to kind of not tell people that they had won just to keep the momentum going. Because in the first week it would be like, everyone's gotten pizza, you can all quit now.
I think it was great for fifth grade, but fifth grade it was just awesome to see. Yeah.
We had a really good uptick in terms of participation levels from 5th grade, which was low last year, and there was a general sense of maybe not enough outreach was done to that grade to engage them. So we targeted that this year, and that seemed to work.
We tried to learn from our mistakes last year, and which is what we're going to try to do again next year.
Yeah, so we looked through the survey data today, and we have to parse it all more specifically, but a few sort of things came up repeatedly in the narrative commentary, and one of those things was that it maybe is a little much, that running for the kindergartners. So there's something about the kindergartners and the first and the second graders all together at once doing that event, and the kindergartners getting stampeded to death, and it's all very Pamplona-ish and it's sort of crazy. So
did you hear Travis, the MC actually said, I just saw a kindergartner get gored by a second grader.
Yeah, so
it wasn't funny to the kindergarten teachers or many of the kindergarten parents. I mean, I am one. And I thought it was a little out of control. Thanks.
Yes.
So we'll figure that out. Next year is going to all be about how much space we've got and what's the theme. I mean, there are a lot of variables, but we'll rest assured for parents, because we got at least 8 comments about safety for kindergartners and it being overwhelming. It's so early in the year, they're not really settled in yet. We'll try to address that.
Yeah, so we'll adjust that. But otherwise, I would say the general themes of the feedback we got were that communication was relatively clear, the website was relatively easy to use. People felt like, particularly in comparison to last year, that the messaging was pretty consistent and they had a sense of what they were supposed to do, when they were supposed to do it, et cetera. So if anybody here has any feedback that we should know that runs counter to that or it amplifies it in any way, that would be useful for us, because those were the main threads from what we got.
And of course, what we learned from the survey is what from doing any public anything, which is you can't please everybody. And apparently there were some people who just hated it. They hated it.
Well, that's true.
But
I mean, that's
hopefully it was the small number of people.
There were a few people who really felt like they preferred the Booster Thon thing, and they felt like they thought it was better when people were coming in the classroom and incentivizing the kids
They wanted more
individually.
competitiveness. They wanted us to count the laps. Here's the thing, you
So
can't.
that happened. There are some people who prefer that, and that's fine.
And again, we switched from the counting donations instead of counting dollar amounts, because we got a lot of flack for that the previous year. And of course, there are people who preferred that too. But I think overall, counting dollars probably works for more people, because there was a lot of tension.
So it's a small percentage that you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We got. No, we didn't survey the kids.
My kid was like, why are you kind of putting me on a picture? So
Yeah.
he was actually the one, and I was like, oh, it's not about anything, whatever. But it's interesting because he was kind of like.
He wanted to be counted, or he didn't?
He did.
He did.
wanted them to be counted.
Yeah.
Just because he liked that feeling of like.
Well-
But then it was like you all did the same number anyway, so it's false.
And maybe we can figure out maybe we can have a lane for kids who want to be counted. I mean, we can figure something out, maybe. I mean,
here's the thing
with
that
the
I think-
kindergartners all off in their separate section anyway, doing their own thing.
One of the tensions here is that you're trying to balance a fundraising activity that's being honest about the fact that this is fundraising. We don't want to send them any cookie dough or any popcorn or have you buy anything useless. It's just fundraising. So please give us some money, and we will have a party for the children at the event at the end as a way to celebrate that. So you want So you want the party at the end to have an event sort of feel to it. You want there to be an eventness to it. But you also want to be honest about the fact that this is just a party to celebrate the fact that we just asked people for straight money, right? Like there's no sort of gimmick involved. So I think what we're trying to figure out is how to best balance the tension between saying like, look, this is an honest approach to fundraising. We just want money with minimal overhead. And also, we want a party that makes you feel rewarded, but that doesn't have a whole lot of hoops to jump through and doesn't insert a whole lot of unnecessary metrics onto the fundraising activity,
Which would,
right?
some of which would be impossible to apply anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, just-
donations per lap and la
Yeah.
la that sort of thing.
Their money much better works for me than their donation.
Yeah.
Confirmation of all their efforts with all these fun, like next week, there's the
Yes.
pizza parties and
Yes,
there's
it's true.
the
Well, and-
house party.
And that's sort of, and we got a couple of complaints that we haven't gotten to those quickly enough, but again, there are a lot of moving parts in that, and so, but they're happening. And that's actually what I was hoping to end this with, is to say tomorrow, between 11 and 1, the King of Pops folks are coming, and if anyone wants to come out and help us serve 300 kids, we would love to have your help. I don't think it's gonna rain, don't say that. Yeah, and you get a popsicle, of course. And then on the 14th, which is next Thursday, we're gonna serve pizza. And in the time frame is a little shorter, it's 1:30 to the end of school. So if you've got time to come and do that, it's gonna, it's not brain surgery, it's just handing out slices and snipping off the wrappers and picking up wrappers off the ground. So
The fifth grade gets their first taco party.
that's right, on Friday.
Elbowing me saying how the third grade.
And they'll get their donut party. It's just soon, it's really soon. The other complaint that people had that is worth mentioning, especially in this forum, is that a lot of people thought it was a little too early in the year. And I know there's a lot of variables there as well, because the longer we wait in fall, the more stuff's on the calendar and more we're competing with everything else. But perhaps it could be a little further into September next year, if we
Yeah.
can arrange that. We would avoid the high holidays, for one thing, and then we could also let the new kindergartners, well, we don't know when they are, but this year we'll figure it out before we schedule it. And also the kindergartners are gonna have a little more time to settle in, because I think some of the parents felt like this was a head-spinning
Well,
experience.
this year, expecting construction to start at any point in September, it would
That's right.
be the best route to go, but I agree, avoiding the holiday.
Yeah, so when we figure out the calendar, we'll try to keep all the balls in the air. I don't know, and then also to include the specials teachers more. That's something we're gonna try to do. We got a few comments about that.
That's true.
It was hard to figure out how to do that, but I'm sure we can.
Well, Mr. Marvel's the
Miss-
star
and
of every
Senor
show,
Aspe.
but some of those other special
Yeah.
teachers were not as good about.
Well, they're not tied to a classroom where we can, where they're trying to raise money specifically, but we'll have to figure out a way to work them in. For me, the success of this is not actually the dollar amount. It's whether the parents feel like at the end of it, did I give the amount of money I wanted, right? I mean, nobody felt, like, you don't want to, you don't want to leave a fundraiser. Like, when you go to silent auction or whatever, you come away and you're like, oh my God, I just spent so much money.
$700 on that thing I don't need.
Or you didn't get what you wanted out of it. Like, I wanted all the parents to feel like it fit for them, right? The idea is that it's personalized to your own degree of participation, what you want to give. And for the kids, they don't really think about the fundraising as the home run-a-thon. They think about it as that day. Was that day fun? Did they have fun? Did they not get hurt? Did they have enough water? And so I think we're a positive on both.
Yeah, I
of
feel
those.
good, we feel good about it.
Oh, I
Yep,
just want to
Pam.
say, to the specials, I was talking to a parent at Morningside, and she was saying, well, in terms of like class parties, they connect like a specials teacher with a homeroom.
Yeah.
So then when they have class parties or they collect money for gifts, it's like that special teacher is with the homeroom. So I guess it could be the same thing for
Like, that gives that homeroom more help, though? Like, how do we make that equitable?
Yeah.
We can figure something
I'm
out.
just trying to think of like how
We
to.
can make them all sing. We can make them all sing. Does anybody have any comments? If you didn't get to fill out a survey, is there anything you've been wanting to say about the home run-a-thon that you can tell us to help for next year?
I'd like to complain about the complainers.
Yeah.
Noted.
Some of them are a doozy. Yeah. I mean, there were people who couldn't work the website, complained about the website.
We actually got a
Could not-
decent number of complaints about the
Yeah.
website, which I think you have to just dismiss those complaints for the most part. It was a fairly transparent, in terms of web operations, it was a fairly transparent process. So, thanks for your help.